Azam 285. Azam Pot 285. Soon, however, he found that the cabinet mission had only sufficiently recognized the significance of this gesture. In return, Jinnah had expected the Congress to shed their policy of groupings, which they would not. And here Jinnah quite reasonably relied upon the cabinet mission to find a reasonable via media. This was that crucial stage in the Shimla conference when Nehru and Jinnah had come so close to an agreement that they were left alone to talk. They met again one-to-one, but got nowhere. Jinnah would agree to a union government, but not just one central legislature that the Congress wanted. The Congress on its part was not prepared to agree to each of the groups having a separate executive and legislature of their own as a group which Jinnah regarded as vital. However, there were in addition 3 communications exchanged that also call for our attention. Maulana Azad's letter 6 May 1946 addressed to Patrick Lawrence on his own and his colleagues' behalf. The concluding paragraph of his letter totally repudiates what Maulana had written to Gandhi on 2 August 1945, and which the latter had urgently advised Maulana to not make public. In present communication to Patrick Lawrence, Maulana now totally reversed his earlier stand by stating that the way to remove fears and suspicions from the mind of every group and community cannot be through unreal methods which go against the basic principles of democracy. This was a clear categorical rejection of both reserved seats and parity for the Muslims. Writing 3 days later again to Patrick Lawrence, this time on behalf of the Congress, Maulana repeated the party's objection, saying, "We are entirely opposed to the proposed parity both in executive and in the legislature, as between wholly unequal groups. This is unfair and will lead to trouble. Such a provision contains in itself the seed of conflict and the destruction of free growth. If there is no agreement on this or any similar matter, we are prepared to leave it to arbitration." A day earlier, on 8 May 1946, a letter addressed to Stafford Cripps, Gandhi had raised his objection to the parity in telling worlds as to merits the difficulty about the parity between 6 Hindu majority provinces, 5 Muslim majority provinces is insurmountable. How can over 9 crores of Muslims be treated on parity with 19 crores of Hindu majority province? This is really worse than Pakistan. What is suggested in its place is that the central legislature should be formed on the population basis, and so too the executive. Nothing therefore came of this. Shimla too also ended inconclusively, whereafter on 16 May 1946 the cabinet mission issued a white paper which they considered as the best arrangement to ensure the speedy setting up of the Constitution for India. Both the cabinet mission and the Viceroy recommended that the future Constitution of India should adopt certain basic principles. About Pakistan, the above cited white paper held, "We are unable to advise the British government that the power which at present resides in its hands should be handed over to 2 entirely separate sovereign states." The delegation and the Viceroy have been forced to the conclusion that neither a larger nor a sovereign state of Pakistan would provide a stable solution for the communal problems. Built in the cabinet mission's statement of 16 May 1946 were 2 plans, a long and a short-term scheme. Through these plans, the mission had rejected the Pakistan demand and put forth a scheme of loose federation with 1 constituent assembly for framing a constitution for the proposed Indian Union. The long-term scheme visualize three groupings of the provinces, those of the Hindu majority, one of Muslim majority, and the third group of the provinces, east and northeast, that is Bengal and Assam.